Welcome to my channel USA Old Coins, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The story of American coins is filled with history, culture, and artistry, and among them stands a fascinating piece from 2017, the Washington Quarter Dollar honoring Frederick Douglass. This quarter belongs to the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that brought not only state symbols but also national parks and historic figures into the spotlight. The Frederick Douglass Quarter was minted to honor the life and legacy of one of the most powerful voices in American history. Douglass, who was born into slavery and rose to become a world-renowned abolitionist, writer, and speaker, remains a symbol of resilience and the fight for freedom. The fact that his legacy is captured on a circulating coin speaks to his enduring influence. On the obverse side, the coin carries the traditional portrait of George Washington, a design that has been the standard for the quarter since 1932. Sculpted by John Flanagan, this image of Washington has become iconic, representing stability and continuity in U.S. coinage. The reverse of this coin, however, is where the story of Frederick Douglass comes alive. The design shows Douglass seated at a writing desk, a symbol of his intellectual strength and literary contributions. Behind him, his Washington, D.C. home, Cedar Hill, is visible, tying together his personal life and public achievements. This imagery is powerful because it captures Douglass not only as an orator and activist but also as a writer who used his words to change the world. His autobiographies and speeches reached far beyond his lifetime, inspiring generations to fight against injustice. The quarter was issued in 2017 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters series, which ran from 2010 through 2021. Each design in this program highlighted a national site or historic figure connected to American identity. Frederick Douglass was chosen to represent Washington, D.C., and his inclusion in the series was celebrated as a moment of recognition for his immense role in shaping the nation. Collectors quickly noticed the appeal of the Douglass quarter. While millions were minted, the artistic design, coupled with the historical significance, made it a standout piece. Many collectors began setting aside pristine examples in hopes of adding long-term value to their coin portfolios, but not every Frederick Douglass quarter is created equal. Regular circulation strikes are common, but those struck in proof or special finishes can carry greater collector interest. Proof coins minted in San Francisco, with their sharp detail and mirror-like fields, often stand out as some of the finest examples of this design. Error coins are another factor that can dramatically raise the value of this quarter. Like other modern coins, some Frederick Douglass quarters left the mint with misstrikes, off-center designs, or double-die varieties. These errors, although rare, are highly desirable among collectors who seek unique and unusual coins. The symbolism of this coin goes far beyond its metal value. For many, it serves as a pocket-sized reminder of the progress the nation has made, while also reflecting the struggles and challenges of its history. To see Douglass, once enslaved, honored on a U.S. coin is a testament to the power of perseverance and justice. Collectors and history lovers alike treasure this quarter for its connection to the fight for human rights. Holding one in your hand feels like holding a piece of the long American journey toward freedom and equality. The 2017 Frederick Douglass Quarter also connects to the larger story of the Washington Quarter series. Beginning as a commemorative in 1932 for Washington's 200th birthday, the quarter has since become a canvas for celebrating American heritage. Over time, the quarter transformed from a standard design into a series of mini historical lessons. When placed side by side with other America the Beautiful Quarters, the Frederick Douglass coin shines with its unique focus on a person rather than just a location or natural landmark. It reminds us that history is shaped by individuals who dared to challenge the status quo. Condition plays a major role in the value of this coin. A circulated Frederick Douglass quarter may only hold face value, but examples preserved in mint state condition or proof finish are far more valuable. Collectors look for sharp details, no wear, and original luster to determine worth. A-graded coins certified by professional services such as PCGS or NGC carry even higher premiums. A Frederick Douglass quarter graded at MS67 or higher could fetch serious attention from investors and collectors alike. Special packaging, such as those quarters included in mint sets or silver-proof sets, also add value. The silver version of this quarter, struck in 90% silver, holds not only historical significance but also intrinsic metal value. Demand for this quarter has been steadily growing among collectors, especially those who specialize in modern U.S. coins. The Frederick Douglass design has become one of the most admired and sought after in the America the Beautiful series. Part of what makes this quarter stand out is its storytelling element. Coins are not just pieces of metal, they are storytellers. The Frederick Douglass quarter tells the story of a man who educated himself, wrote powerful works, and became a leader in the fight against slavery. His life is perfectly captured in the simple imagery of a desk, a book, and his home. These elements highlight not only the intellectual strength of Douglass but also the grounded reality of his daily life. Beyond collectors, educators, and history enthusiasts also appreciate this coin. Many teachers have used it in classrooms to spark discussions about slavery, abolition, and civil rights. It has become not just a collectible but also a teaching tool. The coin also holds importance for Washington, D.C., as it ties the city's history to Douglass' residence at Cedar Hill. Visitors today can still tour his home, where the ideas that shaped his writings and speeches came to life. In terms of design artistry, the Frederick Douglass quarter is considered one of the more detailed and meaningful designs in the America the Beautiful series. Every element was chosen carefully to honor his contributions. Collectors often note that the design captures both strength and serenity. Douglass appears thoughtful and composed, a man who knew the weight of his words and used them to reshape society. The quarter has already become a favorite in numismatic circles, and its long-term value is expected to grow as time passes and pristine examples become scarcer. Many collectors believe that coins like this, which carry strong historical themes, will always remain in demand. What's fascinating is how a small piece of metal can connect people to such a powerful legacy. The Frederick Douglass quarter is a daily reminder of the struggles and victories that form the foundation of American democracy. Today, rare versions of this coin, whether due to condition, grading, or unique minting errors, are highly valuable. Collectors pay top dollar for the best preserved examples, especially when they come with a strong provenance. This is why coin enthusiasts continue to hunt for the Frederick Douglass quarter in rolls, sets, and circulation. Finding one in excellent condition can feel like discovering a piece of hidden history. So, while millions of these coins exist, only a small number truly stand out in terms of rarity, quality, and desirability. Those are the coins that bring the highest rewards in the collector's market, and among the most prized examples, the value of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar Frederick Douglass 2017 has reached an astonishing $25,000. Top 2. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American pocket change since 1932, but over the years it has evolved into something far more than just a coin. It has become a miniature canvas, telling the story of the nation, its history, and its heroes. One of the most powerful and inspiring examples of this is the Tuskegee Airman quarter, issued in 2021. Coin is not just another quarter, it is a tribute to a remarkable group of individuals who helped shape American history. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American military aviators in the United States Armed Forces, breaking barriers and rewriting what was possible during World War II. Coin was released as the final design of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that ran from 2010 to 2021. This program featured 56 unique designs, each celebrating a national park or historic site from across the United States and its territories. The Tuskegee Airman quarter represented Alabama, and it brought the program to a powerful and symbolic conclusion. The obverse of the coin carries the familiar image of George Washington, a design originally created by John Flanagan. For nearly a century, Washington's portrait has served as a constant reminder of America's founding values, grounding every quarter in tradition. It is the reverse of the Tuskegee Airman quarter that carries the story. The design depicts a Tuskegee Airman pilot in the foreground, donning his flight gear, standing tall and confident. Behind him, two P-51 Mustang fighter planes soar overhead, a nod to the aircraft that became symbols of their bravery. The words "they fought 2 wars" are inscribed on the coin, a simple phrase that carries enormous meaning. The Tuskegee Airmen battled not only America's enemies abroad but also racism and discrimination at home. Their struggle was twofold, and their courage extended far beyond the battlefield. This design is rich in symbolism. The pilot stands ready, his gaze directed forward, embodying determination and resilience. The planes in flight represent both the victories of the Tuskegee Airmen in combat and their ability to rise above prejudice and injustice. Collectors and historians alike were thrilled by this design. To close the America the Beautiful series with such a powerful story gave the program a memorable conclusion. Many saw it as one of the most important designs in modern U.S. coinage. Although the coin was minted in large numbers for circulation, collectors immediately began setting aside pristine examples. Uncirculated coins with sharp detail and flawless surfaces quickly became prized additions to coin collections. Beyond its artistic design, the Tuskegee Airman quarter carries immense cultural value. It honors the service of more than 900 pilots and thousands of support personnel who served with them, leaving a permanent mark on U.S. military history. The coin also serves as a bridge between generations. Younger collectors learn about the history of the Tuskegee Airmen through this quarter, while older generations see it as a long overdue recognition of their contributions. Like other coins, condition is key to determining value. A Tuskegee Airman quarter found in circulation may only hold face value, but in uncirculated or proof condition, it becomes far more valuable. Collectors search for coins with no scratches, bright luster, and sharp detail. Proof versions of this quarter, minted in San Francisco, showcase the design with mirror-like fields and frosted images. These coins are highly collectible and often preserved in special packaging. Silver-proof versions struck for collector sets add another layer of desirability. Not only do they feature the powerful design, but they are also made of 90% silver, giving them intrinsic metal value. Error coins add even more excitement. Misstrikes, doubled dies, or off-center errors make certain Tuskegee Airman quarters unique and highly valuable. These rare pieces are often worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The story behind the coin is what makes it stand out. The Tuskegee Airmen's bravery helped change the course of the war and paved the way for the eventual desegregation of the U.S. Armed Forces. Without their efforts, progress toward equality might have taken much longer. The coin is also a reminder of how numismatics and history intertwine. Every coin has a story to tell, and this one tells a story of courage, sacrifice, and determination in the face of adversity. In the larger context of American coinage, the Tuskegee Airman quarter stands as a landmark. It is not only a modern collectible but also a symbol of recognition for a group that fought for freedom abroad and justice at home. For collectors, this coin represents more than just value. It represents pride. Owning one is like holding a piece of American history in your hands. It connects you to the legacy of those who fought against impossible odds. The quarter has also become a teaching tool. Many educators use it to spark discussions about the Tuskegee Airmen and their role in both military and civil rights history. In this way, the coin is both a collectible and an educational artifact. As time passes, pristine examples of the Tuskegee Airman quarter will become scarcer. Those who preserve them now are safeguarding a piece of history for future generations. Graded coins in high mint state condition already command attention in the collector's market. A coin certified as MS67 or higher by professional grading services is highly desirable and often sells for impressive premiums. Demand for this coin is expected to continue growing, especially as people come to appreciate the cultural and historical significance behind its design. Coins that combine strong artistry with powerful stories often hold enduring value. The closing of the America the Beautiful series with this coin was fitting. It left collectors not only with a beautiful design but also with a sense of reflection on America's journey toward equality. The coin tells us that history is not just about battles fought overseas but also about struggles faced at home. The Tuskegee Airmen's story reminds us that courage is needed on all fronts, and this coin ensures their bravery will never be forgotten. Numismatics is often about rarity and condition, but in the case of the Tuskegee Airman Quarter, meaning and legacy play an equally important role. It is both a treasure for collectors and a tribute to heroes, and so, while many examples of this quarter exist, rare and pristine versions are highly sought after, with some commanding values that surprise even experienced collectors. Among the most desirable examples, the value of the United States of America Washington Quarter Dollar Tuskegee Airman 2021 has reached $15,000. Top 3. The Washington Quarter has been part of American life for generations, and through the 50-state quarters program, it transformed into one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. Among the many designs released between 1999 and 2008, the Indiana Quarter of 2002 stands out with its unique style and deep meaning. When the U.S. Mint began the state quarters program, it aimed to honor every state with a design that would represent its culture, history, and achievements. Indiana's turn came in 2002, and the design chosen for this quarter captured both the heritage of the state and its proud role in the world of racing. The obverse of the Indiana Quarter features the traditional bust of George Washington. Sculpted by John Flanagan, this portrait has remained a constant across the series, anchoring each state's design in continuity with American history. The reverse is where the real excitement lies. The Indiana State Quarter features a race car, the Indy car, which symbolizes the world-famous Indianapolis 500. Behind the car is an outline of Indiana's state borders, with 19 stars arranged around it to mark Indiana as the 19th state admitted to the Union. The inclusion of the IndyCar is no coincidence. The Indianapolis 500 is one of the most iconic auto races in the world, and Indiana is synonymous with speed, endurance, and engineering innovation. The quarter captures that energy in a design that feels dynamic and full of motion. Beneath the race car, the words Crossroads of America are inscribed, a fitting tribute to Indiana's nickname. The state has long been a hub of transportation, commerce, and culture, connecting regions across the Midwest and beyond. The design was well received when it entered circulation in 2002. Millions of people across the country first encountered it in pocket change, sparking interest not only in coin collecting but also in Indiana's history and culture. For coin collectors, the Indiana Quarter has remained an attractive piece. While circulated examples are common, uncirculated or proof versions of the coin hold much more appeal. These are the coins preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, with every detail sharp and clear. Proof versions, especially those struck in San Francisco, highlight the beauty of the design. With mirror-like surfaces and frosted details, proof coins showcase the race car and the stars in stunning clarity. Silver proof versions are particularly prized by collectors. Struck in 90% silver, these coins not only carry historical and cultural significance but also intrinsic metal value. They are sought after both by coin enthusiasts and by those who collect silver. Beyond the basic design, the Indiana Quarter has its share of minting varieties and errors that make it even more interesting. Off-center strikes, double dies, and other unusual flaws are rare but can elevate the value of a coin dramatically. Collectors are always on the lookout for these error coins, as they are one-of-a-kind pieces that combine the charm of the state design with the excitement of rarity. A unique Indiana error coin can attract intense bidding in auctions. The Indiana Quarter also stands out for its role in the larger narrative of the state quarters program. By 2002, the program had already become a massive success, with millions of new collectors joining the hobby. The release of the Indiana Quarter added to the momentum, keeping people engaged and excited. For many families, collecting state quarters became a shared activity. Parents and children searched through their pocket change to fill collector maps, learning about each state along the way. The Indiana Quarter often became a favorite thanks to its bold and lively race car design. The choice of an IndyCar gave the coin an international appeal as well. Racing fans from around the globe recognized the imagery, connecting the quarter to one of the most famous events in motorsport. Condition plays a crucial role in determining the coin's value. While circulated examples remain at face value, coins in mint state condition are far more valuable. Collectors prize coins that have retained their original luster and sharp detail, professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC certify Indiana quarters, giving them a grade that reflects their condition. High-grade coins, especially those rated MS-67 or higher, are extremely rare and command significant premiums. Beyond condition, rarity plays a key role. Certain Indiana quarters struck in limited numbers or with special finishes are harder to find, making them highly desirable to serious collectors. The historical value of the coin is equally important. The design embodies both Indiana's culture and its contributions to America's identity. To many, the Indiana quarter is not just a collectible but a celebration of heritage and pride. Even outside of numismatic circles, the quarter has become a symbol of Indiana's identity. It represents racing, crossroads, and the spirit of innovation, all wrapped into a design small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. The Indiana quarter demonstrates the power of coinage as a storytelling medium. Coins are not just currency, they are lessons in history, art, and culture. Every time someone encounters the Indiana quarter, they are reminded of the state's unique role in American life. Collectors often speak of the emotional connection they feel when holding one of these coins. For Indiana natives, it represents home and heritage. For racing fans, it represents speed and excitement. For historians, it represents the success of a program that educated millions. The legacy of the Indiana quarter continues to grow as the years pass. As pristine examples become harder to find, their value increases, making them highly sought after in auctions and private collections. Demand remains strong among those who want to complete their state quarter sets. Since every state was honored, missing even one design leaves a collection incomplete, and the Indiana quarter is among the more desirable entries. This demand ensures that the coin will remain relevant in the numismatic world for decades to come. Its design is instantly recognizable, and its historical significance makes it more than just a piece of change. As collectors search for the finest examples, they continue to push values higher. Rare errors, silver proofs, and high-grade uncirculated coins are especially valuable, often attracting competition from determined bidders. Over time, the Indiana quarter has proven itself to be more than just another state quarter. It is a reflection of culture, history, and achievement, captured forever in a design that still excites collectors today. And among the finest and most rare examples, the value of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar Indiana 2002 has reached $85,000. Top 4. The Washington quarter has always been more than just a coin. It is a reflection of American history, art, and identity. With the introduction of the 50-state quarters program, every state had the opportunity to showcase its pride and heritage. In 2003, Alabama took its turn, and the design chosen for its quarter is one of the most meaningful of the entire series. The Alabama state quarter pays tribute to one of the most remarkable figures in American history, Helen Keller. Born in 1880, Keller overcame the challenges of being both deaf and blind to become an author, lecturer, and tireless advocate for people with disabilities. Her life story continues to inspire millions around the world. The obverse of the coin follows the traditional pattern of the series. George Washington's portrait, first created by John Flanagan in 1932, appears on the front, providing the familiar anchor for the state quarters program. This constant image ties together all 50 designs with the nation's first president. The reverse of the Alabama quarter is where the story truly unfolds. The coin shows Helen Keller seated, reading a book in Braille. Surrounding her are longleaf pine branches, which represent Alabama's state tree. To the right of her image, the name Helen Keller is inscribed in both English and Braille, making this the first U.S. coin to feature Braille writing. This detail is more than symbolic. It represents inclusion, accessibility, and recognition of Keller's lifelong mission to empower people with disabilities. For collectors and historians, this single feature makes the Alabama quarter one of the most unique and historically significant coins in modern American numismatics. The design was chosen through a process involving the people of Alabama. Residents were given a chance to participate in selecting the theme, and Helen Keller was a natural choice. She represents courage, resilience, and the ability to overcome insurmountable odds. The phrase "spirit of courage" appears on the coin as well, encapsulating both Keller's personal strength and the values that define Alabama's contribution to American life. This motto continues to resonate with collectors who appreciate not only the artistic design but also the message behind it. When the Alabama quarter entered circulation in 2003, it was met with wide acclaim. Millions of people who had never heard of Helen Keller learned her story simply by looking at their pocket change. In this way, the state quarters program succeeded not only in encouraging coin collecting but also in teaching history. The coin quickly became a favorite among collectors because of its originality and meaning. While many state quarters highlight landmarks or natural beauty, the Alabama quarter stands out for honoring a person who symbolizes human perseverance. Proof versions of the Alabama quarter were struck in San Francisco with incredible detail. The mirror-like fields and frosted designs make Keller's image and the Braille inscription stand out even more. Collectors treasure these proofs for their artistry. Silver proof versions are particularly valuable. Struck in 90% silver, these coins combine both historic significance and precious metal content, making them highly sought after by serious numismatists and investors alike. In addition to regular strikes, error coins of the Alabama quarter add another layer of intrigue. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes make these coins rare and highly collectible. Such unusual examples often sell for far more than their standard counterparts. The Alabama quarter is also an important reminder of how coinage can break boundaries. Featuring Braille on a U.S. coin was a groundbreaking decision, signaling a shift toward inclusivity in American design. Collectors and advocates alike recognize this as a historic milestone. Beyond its design, the Alabama quarter connects directly to American culture. Helen Keller's life story is not just a state treasure but a national one, making this coin resonate well beyond Alabama's borders. For Alabama residents, this quarter carries a sense of pride. It tells the world about one of their greatest citizens and shares her story with future generations. It is a symbol of both state identity and universal inspiration. The longleaf pine branches included in the design are also meaningful. They remind people of Alabama's natural heritage, connecting the themes of strength and resilience to the environment itself. The state quarters program encouraged millions of Americans to start collecting, and the Alabama quarter became one of the most cherished designs. Families often placed it proudly in their collector maps, knowing its design represented something deeper than geography. Condition remains one of the most important factors in determining value. A circulated Alabama quarter may remain at face value, but pristine, uncirculated examples with full luster can sell for significant sums. High-grade coins certified by services like PCGS and NGC are especially valuable. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are rare and highly sought after, often commanding large premiums in the marketplace. Silver-proof examples preserved in their original mint packaging continue to attract collectors. These pieces, untouched and flawless, stand as some of the best representations of the Alabama quarter's beauty. As time passes, coins like this only grow in historical importance. They represent not just money but culture, identity, and heritage. The Alabama quarter stands as a reminder of how a simple coin can inspire and educate. Collectors are often drawn to coins that carry powerful stories, and the Alabama quarter certainly qualifies. The legacy of Helen Keller makes this coin more than just a collectible, it is a tribute to the human spirit. The inclusion of Braille gives the coin a timeless appeal. It will forever be remembered as the first U.S. coin to bring the visually impaired community into the world of numismatic art. Demand for the Alabama quarter continues to rise, especially for rare varieties, silver proofs, and high-grade uncirculated examples. Collectors and investors see it as both a valuable addition and a piece of history worth preserving. For many, owning an Alabama quarter is not just about completing a set but about celebrating resilience and courage. It is one of those designs that collectors often single out as particularly meaningful. Over time, pristine examples will become harder to find in the open market. As more are locked away in private collections, prices are expected to continue climbing. The Alabama quarter is not only an object of numismatic interest but also a reminder that American coins can serve as symbols of progress, inspiration, and change, and among the finest, rarest, and most valuable examples, the value of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar Alabama 2003 has reached $80,000. Top 5. The Washington quarter has been an essential part of American coinage for decades, but in recent years it has also become a canvas for telling the nation's history. Through the America the Beautiful Quarters program, the U.S. Mint created designs that celebrated not only natural beauty but also important historic sites. One of the most striking among them is the 2019 War in the Pacific Quarter. This quarter was issued to honor the War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam. The park stands as a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made during World War II and the events that took place on the island. It captures both the tragedy of war and the resilience of the people who endured it. The obverse of the coin carries the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. It has remained the constant face of the quarter since 1932, linking every new design to the nation's first president. It is the reverse, however, that tells the story. The War in the Pacific Quarter depicts American forces landing on the shores of Guam during World War II. Soldiers are shown wading through the water, carrying supplies, while others press forward with weapons at the ready. The design is both realistic and emotional, evoking the intensity of the Pacific Campaign. The scene pays tribute to the moment when U.S. forces liberated Guam from Japanese occupation in 1944. For the people of Guam, this event remains a pivotal moment in history, symbolizing both suffering and liberation. The design carries powerful meaning because it shows not just a symbol but actual human figures in the midst of action. It captures the bravery of soldiers who faced overwhelming odds to secure freedom in the Pacific Theater. The release of this coin in 2019 brought renewed attention to Guam's role in World War II. Many Americans had never fully understood the significance of the island's story, and the quarter provided a gateway into learning more. Collectors were immediately drawn to this design. Unlike many quarters that feature landscapes or buildings, this one tells a vivid story of wartime struggle. The imagery is dynamic, pulling the viewer into the scene itself. Uncirculated examples of the war in the Pacific Quarter became favorites among those who wanted to preserve its design in pristine condition. Proof coins, struck in San Francisco with mirror-like finishes, showcased the intricate details of the soldiers and the waves around them. Silver-proof versions were even more striking. Made of 90% silver, these coins carry both numismatic and intrinsic metal value. Their combination of artistry and precious metal content makes them particularly desirable for collectors. As with other coins in the series, error varieties have been reported for the war in the Pacific Quarter. Off-center strikes, double dies, or unusual flaws make certain examples rare and highly collectible. Such pieces often sell for significantly higher prices than their regular counterparts. The symbolism of the coin goes beyond the imagery itself. It represents the struggles of war, the bravery of those who fought, and the resilience of people who lived through occupation. For many, holding the coin feels like holding a small piece of World War II history. The America the Beautiful series was designed to teach as well as to inspire. By including the war in the Pacific design, the program ensured that millions of people would be reminded of Guam's role in the global conflict. For Guam, this quarter was a moment of recognition. It ensured that the sacrifices of its people and the heroism of American soldiers would never be forgotten. Every coin that entered circulation carried that story far beyond the island. Collectors often remark on the emotion behind this design. Unlike other quarters that celebrate peace and beauty, this one carries the weight of war. It is sobering but also powerful, making it stand out from the series. The detail in the design is also notable. From the movement of the waves to the posture of the soldiers, every element was carefully crafted to capture realism and depth. Proof coins especially highlight these fine details. Condition is critical in determining the coin's value. While circulated examples are still common, pristine uncirculated coins, silver proofs, and error varieties command significant premiums. Collectors seek out coins with sharp strikes, flawless surfaces, and original luster. Grading services like PCGS and NGC certify the finest examples, and coins graded at MS67 or higher are especially rare and desirable. Such high-grade examples often attract strong interest from serious numismatists. beyond condition and rarity, the historical significance of this quarter plays a huge role in its value. Coins that connect directly to major world events often remain in demand for generations. The war in the Pacific Quarter serves as both a collectible and a teaching tool. Educators use it to talk about the Pacific Theater, the liberation of Guam, and the sacrifices made during World War II. For families of veterans, this coin carries emotional weight. It honors those who fought in the Pacific and ensures their courage is remembered in everyday life. As time passes, this coin will only grow in importance. Collectors know that modern quarters with such powerful stories will be highly sought after in the decades to come. The America the Beautiful program has now ended, but the war in the Pacific Quarter remains one of its most memorable designs. It shows how coins can carry history and emotion in a way few other objects can. For those building complete sets of the series, the war in the Pacific Quarter is an essential piece. Its bold design and historical meaning make it a highlight of any collection. The quarter also shows how coinage can bridge geography. Even if someone has never visited Guam, they can learn about its history simply by examining this coin. Collectors and historians alike agree that this coin is one of the most impactful of the modern era. It captures bravery, sacrifice, and resilience, all in a piece of metal small enough to fit in your pocket. Among rare and pristine examples, especially silver proofs and error coins, values have continued to climb. Collectors compete for the best preserved specimens, knowing their significance will only grow, and among the most desirable examples, the value of the United States of America Washington $250 War in the Pacific 2019 has reached $35,000. Top 6. The Washington Quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the coin has undergone several transformations, and certain dates have become legendary among collectors. One of these remarkable dates is 1966, a year filled with transition and intrigue for U.S. quarters. The 1966 quarter belongs to an important period in American coin history. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic change. It removed silver from the quarter's composition. For decades, quarters had been made of 90% silver and 10% copper, but rising silver prices forced the government to introduce a new copper-nickel-clad composition. This meant that 1966 quarters, like those struck in 1965 and later years, contained no silver. Instead, they were composed of an outer layer of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. While this change stabilized the nation's coin supply, it also made collectors especially curious about coins struck during these transitional years. The obverse of the 1966 quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This familiar design had already been in use for over 3 decades by that time and was instantly recognizable to Americans everywhere. On the reverse, the coin displayed the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath. This design, used from 1932 until the advent of the 50 state quarters program in 1999, became one of the most enduring and traditional images on U.S. coinage. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1966 quarter is that, like coins from 1965 and 1967, it was struck without a mint mark. This was done intentionally by the U.S. Mint to discourage hoarding during the transition from silver to clad coinage. Collectors who normally sought after mint marks suddenly had nothing to distinguish their coins, making the 1966 issue unique. Because of this, all 1966 quarters look similar on the surface, but collectors have discovered that not all are equal. Some carry hidden traits that make them stand out as rare and valuable treasures. For example, certain 1966 quarters exist in proof-like or special mint set (SMS) versions. These coins were not released into circulation but packaged in collector sets, and they show sharper details, stronger strikes, and often have a distinctive satiny or mirrored finish. Among these, some coins display remarkable qualities like deep cameo contrasts, where the design is frosty while the background fields shine like mirrors. These pieces are exceptionally beautiful and highly sought after by advanced collectors. Another reason the 1966 quarter is special lies in its errors and varieties. Transitional periods at the mint often produce unusual mistakes, and 1966 was no exception. Off-center strikes, double dies, and die adjustment strikes are some of the varieties that can make a coin from this year incredibly valuable. One particularly famous type is the double die obverse, where elements of Washington's portrait or the inscriptions appear doubled. These varieties are rare and instantly recognizable once spotted. Collectors pay top prices for such examples. Condition is another crucial factor in determining the value of a 1966 quarter. Coins that circulated heavily often show wear and scratches, reducing their appeal. However, uncirculated examples with brilliant luster and sharp detail are far rarer and can fetch astonishing sums. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC certify the finest specimens, and coins graded at the top of the scale, MS67 or higher, are almost impossible to find. These high-grade coins represent the best of the best, and collectors are willing to pay enormous premiums for them. What makes the 1966 quarter even more fascinating is its place in the story of American coinage. It symbolizes a turning point, when silver disappeared from everyday coins and the modern era of clad coinage began. In this way, it carries both numismatic and historical significance. Many collectors view the 1966 quarter as more than just a coin. It is a snapshot of American life during the mid-1960s, a period marked by change, innovation, and uncertainty. Holding one feels like holding a piece of that era's history. The fact that the mint intentionally removed mint marks during this time also gives the coin a certain mystique. For 3 years, collectors were left without the thrill of searching for mint mark varieties, making these coins unique in the long history of U.S. numismatics. Special mint set versions of the 1966 quarter remain particularly prized. These coins often show better quality than circulation strikes, with more detail and eye appeal. Deep cameo SMS quarters from 1966 are among the scarcest and most valuable of all modern quarters. For many collectors, the excitement lies in searching for hidden gems among 1966 quarters. A coin pulled from an old collection or discovered in a forgotten drawer might turn out to be one of these elusive rarities worth thousands of dollars. The story of the 1966 quarter is also a reminder that not all valuable coins are made of silver or gold. Sometimes, a coin of humble metal can achieve legendary status because of rarity, condition, or history. Collectors who focus on transitional issues often place the 1966 quarter near the top of their lists. It represents both continuity and change, linking the silver era of U.S. coinage to the modern clad era. Auction records have shown that rare and pristine examples of the 1966 quarter can sell for staggering amounts. The right combination of condition, finish, and variety can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a numismatic treasure. This makes the 1966 quarter an exciting piece for both casual collectors and serious investors. It holds broad appeal because it can be found in everyday collections but also holds hidden potential for extraordinary value. The design itself, simple yet classic, continues to resonate with collectors. Washington's strong profile and the eagle's heraldic stance represent strength, tradition, and pride in American history. In the years since, countless quarters have been struck, many with elaborate and colorful designs. Yet the 1966 quarter continues to stand out, not because of its artwork, but because of its story. Its value lies not only in rarity but in its connection to a pivotal moment in U.S. monetary history. That makes it one of the most fascinating and collectible coins of the entire Washington Quarter series. For those who treasure the history of American coinage, the 1966 quarter is far more than pocket change. It is a link to a story of change, adaptation, and enduring legacy. Collectors know that finding the finest examples requires patience, dedication, and sometimes a bit of luck. But the reward can be enormous when a coin once thought ordinary turns out to be something truly extraordinary. And among the rarest, highest grade, and most prized examples, the value of the United States of America Washington Quarter dollar 1966 has reached $176,000. Top 7. The Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932, has become one of the longest-running and most collected coin designs in United States history. By the time 1979 arrived, this iconic coin had already cemented its place in the pockets of millions of Americans. Yet, among the billions struck, there are some that carry secrets of rarity and great value. The year 1979 was a fascinating moment for U.S. coinage. America was experiencing economic challenges, inflation, and rising costs, and the nation's coinage reflected the push toward mass production and circulation efficiency. At the same time, collectors were on the hunt for coins with unique traits that stood out from the ordinary. The Washington quarter of 1979 continued the traditional design created by John Flanagan. On the obverse, it carried the classic portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" proudly placed alongside. On the reverse, the coin showcased the heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows in its talons and olive branches beneath, a strong symbol of America's balance of peace and strength. This design, unaltered since 1932, was familiar to every American who handled coins in that era. The composition of the 1979 quarter was the copper-nickel-clad style, which had replaced silver more than a decade earlier in 1965. This meant the coin was made from outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it durability but little intrinsic metal value. Yet what truly makes 1979 quarters intriguing to collectors are not the common circulation strikes, but the rare errors, high-grade examples, and unusual minting anomalies that transform them from pocket change into valuable treasures. One of the key factors is the mint where the coin was struck. In 1979, quarters were produced at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each location carried its own unique production numbers and potential for distinctive varieties. The Philadelphia mint struck massive numbers of coins without a mint mark, flooding the nation with quarters for everyday commerce. These are the most common, but rare high-grade examples remain valuable. Denver mint quarters carried the familiar D mint mark, and while they were also produced in large quantities, some specimens struck with exceptional sharpness and luster are prized by collectors. San Francisco, however, is where the most fascinating coins of 1979 emerged. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors, and within those, different mint mark styles appeared. Some mint marks were clear and sharp, while others appeared filled or blurry, creating desirable varieties. High-grade proof examples with deep cameo contrast, where the frosted design stands out against mirror-like fields, are among the most beautiful quarters from this year. These coins were never meant for circulation but have become highlights in serious collections. Error coins from 1979 are another captivating area. Off-center strikes, double-struck coins, and die cracks can all make an ordinary quarter into a rarity. One of the most dramatic examples includes quarters with major misalignments or missing elements. Collectors especially hunt for double-die obverse varieties, where inscriptions or parts of Washington's portrait show clear doubling. These errors are scarce but extremely valuable when found. The condition of a 1979 quarter is everything when it comes to value. Coins that circulated heavily in the late 1970s and 1980s often show wear, nicks, and dull surfaces, which reduces their collectability, but uncirculated coins with blazing luster, sharp detail, and minimal marks can fetch strong premiums, especially when certified by professional grading services as Mint State 67 or higher. Even harder to find are coins with proof-like surfaces struck at the regular mints, where an ordinary circulation coin somehow appears with the shine and clarity of a proof. These anomalies are highly coveted. The rarity of such coins is what keeps collectors excited. Imagine sifting through old rolls of quarters or searching through inherited coin collections and discovering a 1979 quarter that looks far superior to the rest. That moment of discovery is what fuels the passion of numismatics. Historically, the late 1970s were not considered a golden age of coin collecting, but today, coins from this period are being re-examined. Collectors now recognize the hidden gems within the Washington quarter series of these years. The 1979 quarter represents a bridge between eras. Just 2 decades later, the U.S. Mint would launch the wildly popular 50-state quarters program, changing the look of the coin forever. In this way, the 1979 issue is part of the classic era of Washington quarters. Before the flood of modern commemorative designs, many coin enthusiasts believe that undervalued dates like 1979 are poised for discovery. As grading standards tighten and collectors search for perfection, coins once overlooked now stand out as scarce and desirable. For example, some of the highest graded 1979 quarters have set impressive auction records. A single coin in the finest condition can bring prices that astonish casual observers, proving that not all value lies in gold or silver content. Collectors are often drawn to stories of transition, and 1979 fits this theme perfectly. It was a time when America was preparing for a new decade, yet its coinage still reflected the traditions of the past. Even the design itself, though simple, carries great meaning. Washington's profile reminds us of leadership and sacrifice, while the eagle reflects America's enduring strength. To hold a 1979 quarter is to hold a piece of history that blends art, utility, and symbolism. The appeal of this coin also comes from accessibility. Almost everyone has handled a 1979 quarter at some point, yet few realize that among them are rare varieties worth thousands. It's the thrill of finding treasure in the ordinary that keeps collectors searching. For beginners, the 1979 quarter offers an easy entry point into collecting. For advanced numismatists, it presents the challenge of hunting rare proof varieties, mint mark anomalies, and pristine high-grade examples. This wide appeal makes the 1979 quarter one of those special issues that bridges the gap between casual and serious collecting. It proves that even coins struck in modern times can carry immense value under the right circumstances. As more collectors seek out coins from the 1970s, the 1979 quarter's reputation continues to grow. Its hidden rarities, historical significance, and potential for high values make it a fascinating subject for anyone interested in U.S. coinage. For some, it's about completing a set. For others, it's about the thrill of the hunt. But for all collectors, the 1979 quarter tells a story of enduring value, surprising rarity, and the beauty of a coin that has stood the test of time. And at the very top of that spectrum, the most remarkable examples of the United States of America Washington quarter $1979 have reached a staggering $105,000. Top 8. The Washington quarter is one of the most familiar coins in American history, and by 1983 it had already been in circulation for more than 50 years. Yet, while most people treated these coins as everyday change, collectors today recognize that certain dates, like 1983, hold surprising stories and hidden value. The early 1980s were a turbulent time for the U.S. economy. Inflation, fluctuating interest rates, and shifts in industry shaped the way Americans lived. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins to keep commerce moving, and the 1983 quarter was one of those hard-working pieces of money, designed by John Flanagan. The obverse of the 1983 quarter still carried the familiar profile of George Washington. His face had become synonymous with the quarter itself, a design that had not changed since its debut in 1932. Reverse displayed the powerful eagle with outstretched wings, perched upon arrows and flanked by olive branches, a design that symbolized both America's readiness to defend itself and its desire for peace. Like other quarters struck since 1965, the 1983 issue was made of copper-nickel-clad composition. The outer layers were 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. While not precious metal, this clad style provided strength and durability for circulation. What sets the 1983 quarter apart is not its composition, but its scarcity in high grades and the unusual circumstances of its production. Unlike many other years, there were no government-issued mint sets released in 1982 or 1983. Decision meant that collectors had little opportunity to preserve pristine coins directly from the mint. Instead, nearly every 1983 quarter entered circulation, where it endured heavy wear from daily USE.ASA result. Finding a 1983 quarter today in superb uncirculated condition is a real challenge. The majority of coins from this year show nicks, scratches, and dull surfaces from years of circulation. The Philadelphia Mint produced quarters without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins bore the familiar D. Both facilities struck large numbers, yet both suffered from the same issue. Almost all coins went straight into commerce, not into collector hands. This makes the 1983 quarter a fascinating case where a common date becomes rare in the highest grades. Coins certified as mint state 66, 67, or higher are scarce, and they command impressive premiums when they appear at auction. Error coins from 1983 add even more excitement to the story. Collectors have discovered quarters with off-center strikes, broad strikes, and dramatic die cracks, all of which bring additional value. Some of the most dramatic 1983 quarter errors include double strikes and misaligned dies, where parts of the design appear doubled or shifted. These rare mistakes transform an everyday coin into a numismatic prize. Another sought-after feature is the strike quality. Coins from 1983 often appear weakly struck, with less detail in Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers. Finding one with a sharp, bold strike is far more unusual. For proof-like or high-luster examples, collectors often pay a significant premium. These coins almost seem to shine beyond their ordinary clad composition, standing out from the rest of their worn counterparts. The absence of mint sets in 1983 has created what collectors call a condition rarity. While millions of coins exist, very few survive in the condition that serious numismatists demand. This is why certified high-grade examples are the stars of the 1983 quarter market. A coin that might look ordinary at first glance can become a five-figure treasure if it meets the standards of perfection. Collectors who lived through the 1980s often overlooked these coins, focusing instead on older silver issues. Yet today, the 1983 quarter is a perfect example of why modern coins should never be ignored. The story of this coin also reveals the importance of timing. Because mint sets were not released, opportunities to save perfect 1983 quarters were missed. This small decision by the mint changed the coin's future forever. Even the design itself adds to the appeal. Washington's timeless portrait and the eagle's strong stance serve as a reminder that even in difficult times, America's traditions endure. Today, collectors who specialize in Washington quarters often place the 1983 issue at the top of their want lists, especially in superb condition. It represents not only a coin, but a challenge and an achievement. Auction results have proven this point repeatedly. When pristine 1983 quarters cross the block, the bidding quickly climbs as collectors recognize just how rare these coins truly are. This growing demand has made the 1983 quarter a modern rarity, even though billions were minted. It's a paradox of numismatics. Sometimes the most common-looking coins are the hardest to find in perfection. For new collectors, the 1983 quarter is an exciting discovery. For advanced collectors, it is a tough challenge that rewards patience and dedication. Either way, it has earned its place in the spotlight. Every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1983 quarter is about survival, scarcity, and hidden value. It is proof that even in the modern clad era, extraordinary treasures exist. Collectors often say that coins like this keep the hobby alive. The possibility of finding a rare 1983 quarter in an old coin jar or inherited collection inspires hope and excitement. As time goes on, fewer of these coins remain in pristine shape, which only increases their rarity and desirability. The 1983 quarter stands as a reminder to look carefully at every coin, because history and value may be hidden in plain sight. And among the finest known examples, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar 1983 has reached the incredible value of $88,000. Top 9. The Washington quarter, first struck in 1932, has become a cornerstone of American coinage, and by 1988 it was as familiar to the public as the dollar bill itself. Yet while billions were produced that year, some examples of the 1988 quarter carry stories and values that make them stand out from the rest. The year 1988 fell in the late years of the classic eagle reverse design, which had graced the coin since its debut. Only about a decade later, the 50-state quarters program would take over, but in 1988, the traditional eagle was still firmly in place. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse featured the left-facing profile of George Washington, America's first president, with inscriptions that reminded the nation of its values, liberty at the top and "In God We Trust" on the left. The reverse carried the heraldic eagle, perched proudly on arrows with olive branches below, a design that symbolized America's readiness to defend itself but also its preference for peace. For over 6 decades, this image defined the quarter. By 1988, quarters were being struck in copper-nickel-clad composition, with no silver content. The outer layers contained 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core, a combination introduced back in 1965. Philadelphia Mint struck quarters without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins carried the familiar D mint mark. Both mints produced them in massive quantities, making the 1988 quarter common at first glance, yet numismatics is full of surprises, and the 1988 quarter is a perfect example of how rarity and value can hide in plain sight. It is not the sheer number struck that matters most, but the tiny percentage that survived in remarkable condition. Coins from the 1980s circulated heavily. They passed from person to person in stores, vending machines, and banks. By the time many were saved, they already showed scratches, nicks, and worn surfaces. This makes pristine, uncirculated examples of the 1988 quarter a true rarity today. Coins graded by professional services at mint state 67 or higher are incredibly difficult to find, and collectors compete fiercely for them. High-grade examples with brilliant luster and full detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers are the gems of this date. They stand out immediately when placed next to an average circulated piece. Another layer of excitement comes from mint errors and varieties. The 1988 quarter is known for producing some fascinating mistakes during the minting process. Off-center strikes, double-struck coins, and broad strikes are among the errors that collectors look for. These mistakes occur when a blank planchet is misaligned or struck improperly, creating dramatic and collectible results. Die cracks and die breaks, where raised lines or blobs of metal appear on the surface, are also found on 1988 quarters. Though often subtle, these errors add unique personality to the coin and increase collector interest. Double die varieties are especially sought after. On certain 1988 quarters, doubling can be seen on the inscriptions or details of Washington's portrait. These rare coins command impressive premiums. Condition, as always, plays the biggest role in determining value. While a worn 1988 quarter is worth only face value, one in the finest condition can be worth thousands. Proof coins also exist from this year, struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark. These were made specifically for collectors, featuring mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Deep cameo proofs from 1988 are especially beautiful and valuable, but even among ordinary circulation strikes, the hunt for superb condition coins keeps collectors searching. The thrill lies in spotting a coin that looks different, sharper, or brighter than the rest. The 1988 quarter also represents the last decade of the eagle reverse design, making it part of the end of an era group of Washington quarters. Collectors often pay more attention to coins from this transitional period. In addition, quarters from the 1980s are becoming increasingly recognized as condition rarities. While they may not have been valued highly in their own time, today they are understood to be far scarcer in top grades. This change in perception has caused auction prices for the finest 1988 quarters to soar. What was once a humble coin in pocket change has become a highlight of modern collections. For casual collectors, it is an exciting reminder that valuable coins are not always old or made of silver. Sometimes, a coin from just a few decades ago can hold extraordinary worth. The Washington quarter of 1988 also reflects the stability of American coinage. Though the economy was shifting, the design remained constant, offering familiarity to people across the country. Every time someone picks up a 1988 quarter, they hold not just money, but a small piece of history from that decade, carrying stories of everyday life in the late 20th century. Collectors who specialize in modern quarters know that coins like this require patience and sharp eyes. The rewards, however, can be astonishing. The coin's classic design, historical placement, and scarcity in high grades make it a standout year in the Washington Quarter series. It bridges the traditional design era with the modern era that was about to come, whether found in a collector's album, a forgotten roll, or a family coin jar. The 1988 quarter offers the chance of hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. This is what makes numismatics so thrilling, the idea that something ordinary can, under the right circumstances, be extraordinary, and in the most remarkable cases, the United States of America Washington Quarter $1988 has achieved the impressive value of $76,000. Top 10. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, and by the time 1994 arrived, it was still one of the most recognized coins in circulation. But within the vast number of quarters struck that year, there are stories of rarity, history, and hidden value that make the 1994 issue stand out. The 1990s were an exciting time for coinage in the United States. Collecting was beginning to attract a new generation of enthusiasts, and the U.S. Mint was already preparing for big changes, including the launch of the 50-state quarters program just a few years later in 1999. 1994 quarter still featured the familiar design by John Flanagan, used for decades on the series. On the obverse, George Washington's left-facing profile dominates, with liberty above and "In God We Trust" prominently displayed. The reverse remained unchanged as well, showing the heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below. It was a powerful and traditional image that Americans had known for more than 60 years. Why 1994? Quarters were made entirely in copper nickel-clad composition, a material that had been in place since 1965. Though not as glamorous as silver, this modern alloy provided durability for coins to survive years of use. The Philadelphia Mint struck quarters without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced coins with the D mark. Both facilities turned out hundreds of millions of pieces, ensuring the 1994 quarter was widely available in circulation. San Francisco, however, produced proof coins with the S mint mark for collectors. These proofs were specially struck with mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs, making them some of the most visually striking coins of the year. Even though billions of coins were struck in 1994, true rarity comes from condition and error varieties. Most quarters went straight into circulation, where they were heavily used, resulting in worn and scratched surfaces. This is why high-grade examples of the 1994 quarter are extremely difficult to find. Collectors who seek coins certified as Mint State 67 or higher know that only a tiny fraction of the mintage has survived in such pristine condition. Coins with brilliant luster, sharp details in Washington's hair, and strong feather definition on the eagle are rare gems. These are the coins that capture the attention of advanced numismatists. Error coins add even more excitement to the 1994 quarter. Off-center strikes, double strikes, and broad strikes are among the unusual varieties collectors search for. These minting mistakes are scarce but highly collectible. Die cracks and die chips can also be found on some examples. These small imperfections create raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface, making each error coin unique. One of the most fascinating varieties comes from double dies, where parts of the lettering or Washington's portrait show doubling. These errors are rare, but when found, they can dramatically increase a coin's value. Proof coins from San Francisco are also highly collectible, especially those with deep cameo contrast. The frosted devices set against mirrored fields make them standout pieces, and top-graded proofs are always in demand. Condition rarity is the key to the 1994 quarter's value. While a circulated coin is worth only face value, the finest surviving examples can command thousands at auction. Collectors often underestimate modern quarters, but coins like the 1994 issue prove that even recent decades can produce treasures if the condition is right. The 1994 quarter also holds historical significance as part of the last years of the classic eagle reverse design. Just 5 years later, the design would change forever with the introduction of the 50-state quarters. For collectors, this gives the 1994 issue extra appeal as one of the final entries in a long tradition of Washington quarter design. It is a coin that bridges the old and the new. Another reason the 1994 quarter is special is because it was struck during a time of renewed interest in collecting. Many people were holding on to coins again, creating the foundation for the boom that would come with the state quarters. Even so, most 1994 quarters ended up in circulation, and that makes surviving uncirculated examples even more valuable. They stand as a testament to the importance of preservation in numismatics. For beginners, the 1994 quarter is an exciting introduction to modern coin collecting. For experts, it presents a real challenge in the hunt for perfect specimens. Auction results prove the coin's potential. When a superbly preserved 1994 quarter appears, bidding often rises quickly, showing just how desirable these coins can be. The design itself, though familiar, adds to its timeless appeal. Washington's portrait and the eagle's heraldic form symbolize leadership, strength, and the enduring spirit of America. Every 1994 quarter is a piece of that history. Whether it's tucked away in an album or discovered in a forgotten roll, it carries with it the story of the 1990s and the evolution of American coinage. Collectors are drawn to the coin not just for its potential value but for the thrill of discovery. The possibility that an ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be extraordinary is what makes this hobby so exciting. As years pass, fewer high-quality examples remain, making the 1994 quarter more important with each passing generation. It is proof that even modern coins deserve attention, care, and appreciation. The hidden rarity of the 1994 quarter is one of the many reasons numismatics continues to inspire collectors worldwide, and at the highest levels of preservation and rarity. The United States of America Washington quarter $1994 has achieved the impressive value of $56,000.